Alright everybody, I'm back. Just caught another Kadabra, Timid Kadabra, which is a really nice one, actually. And I've got a couple of repel steps left. But it had some pretty good statistics. Might show you a little bit more of it later on. Timid means less attack, more speed, which is really nice to have on Kadabra. And unfortunately its special attack stat kind of sucked. It was like 5, but everything else was pretty good. So yeah, whenever you're coming into Cerulean Cave, it would be nice to have your Dragonites not past level 67, because that way, as long as you're using max repels, you're going to run into one of those things, and it's a lot easier to catch. Anyway, what I'm doing now, I think, is I'm just going to show you a couple of the Pokemon that you can encounter around this area. You can catch Golbat. Okay. Oh man, really? Okay, fine. If you're going to force my hand, then I'll kill you. What's the Magneton? No, Magneton, obviously. Primates. And the occasional Machoke, which I think it's at level 46 or 52 around here. What am I doing? I'm going to run from this thing. Do Persian and just train that thing to level 100. And you could go through the Elite Four over and over and over again, because it trains up pretty quickly if you're consistent. Okay, yeah, there's Magneton. I'm just looking for a Machoke here because I want to capture it. You could go to the Implemented Pokemon Location and Held Items Guide, given on PokeMMO, the website, the forum. And here's the implemented items: Altered Cave, Kanto, Town, Cities, and Islands, where to find certain Pokemon with Old Rod, Good Rods. Otherwise, this place will tell you where to find everything. Now, I know I'm going through it really fast here, but you guys can just always come through it on your own time and take a look at this list here. And you can always just like hit Control F in order to find stuff on here. Okay, yeah, and there's the Hoenn region stuff as well. So, you know what? You could just pause the video whenever you wanted to as you're looking through this list. A lot of Magikarps and Tentacles. Yeah, I kind of figured that would be the case. Anyway, you know, if you're looking for anything in particular, this would be the place to go. But, I mean, once you've caught a whole bunch of Pokemon, well, then what do you do? Well, I suggest that you hang out with your team. There's Machoke. And right now it's night out in the game, so it's asleep here. So, would one Surf kill it? I'm afraid of killing it by accident. Although the Cadaver lifters, but then again, Cadaver's like level 60 something, so let's go ahead and use Venusaur. Venusaur will be good one more time as a capture Pokemon. Okay, fight Leech Seed. And as soon as he wakes up, I'm just going to put him right back to sleep again. He'll be very well rested. Alright, file Sleep Powder. Oh yeah, by the way, this guy down here, Ross Swaglaw, he was willing to help me trade that Kadabra that I caught. Okay, throw it in. But I think now I'm just going to have one of my teammates trade me not only for this Kadabra, but also this Machoke. Ah, dang it. So I'll not only have an Alakazam, but also a Machamp. And that'll also be useful for fighting against the Elite Four for round 2. So yeah, I mean, at this point, it's really your own prerogative what you want to do with the rest of the game. I'd say join a team, help out other people, you know, catch more starters, maybe make your own little business, or just move on from Pokemon. You know, once you get Pokemon out of your system, that ought to be enough for you. Ooh, Adamant, excellent, best possible nature. Alright, looks like it's ready. Okay. Alright. Thanks, dude. So here we are at the end of our long journey. Although to be honest, it's merely the end of the new things the storyline has to offer. There are many more things to do in PokeMMO for those of you who still thirst for more after 2 adventures in one run. Where exactly should you go from here? Well, that depends on you. If it were me, and I caught the Kadabra I wanted in Cerulean Cave, I would dump the rest of my rare candies into Dragonite and push through the Elite Four until he hit level 100. It may be tedious, but once you have a strong enough Pokemon, you can use the Elite Four to pull everyone else's level up in no time. I'd give Persian the EXP share and make him my next level 100 Pokemon. From there, I'd use the Power Points max on his payday and grind out money on the Pokemon of Icefall Cave. You know, the place on 4 Island where Lorelei was unjustly beating up those rockets. Again, it might be boring, but it'll make money like crazy. And trust me, the economy is booming. Now, you may not be that patient. You played this game for adventure, and darn it, grinding isn't adventure. I get that. You should have over 200k at this point, so it's not like you couldn't afford anything you didn't need. Well, I didn't explore every area of this game. I never went to Shoal Cave and Hoenn, where the Spiels and Celio can be found, or most of the areas in 6 and 7 Islands, or other places, and I certainly didn't fight every trainer. You know, explore, find items I missed, try breeding once, catch as many different Pokemon as you possibly can, except side quests like Trick House, beat more people up for their money. You can be confident that there's nobody left that your team can't handle. Not game trainers anyway. Then again, you might not be satisfied in being the strongest trainer in the game. If you're already starting to miss being among the rookies and duking it out with bug catchers, there's a simple answer for that. Reset the game. Of all the games in the world, I believe PokeMMO has the best replay value. If you made a friend during your quest, you may even have that person trade over a couple of the Pokemon you caught for you. Play again with a different team, but have a couple of your veterans around to make it go faster and easier. While you're at it, see if you can't get your friend to replay the game with you. It's a ton more fun when someone else does the same thing. And, companion or no, you'll still be getting more game items of value that may otherwise only be available in trade chat. If 2 XP shares were good, 4 are even better. Maybe none of that appeals to you. Perhaps you're ready to move beyond NPC trainers and test your skill against real people. Remember those mobs of people we saw throughout our journey? They live to battle competitively. You may not have a great party assembled together by your journey's end, but it's by no means a terrible team. Any of your Pokemon that are level 50 and over are qualified to meet the challenge that human trainers pose. Don't get me wrong now, there's still some stiff competition out there, and you'll probably get your ass kicked a lot if you aren't ready. But worthy competition is the gift that keeps on giving in this game. Alternatively, instead of fighting with others, you might become a Pokemon philanthropist like me. There are always people asking for help in the chat, and not nearly enough people helping. I find that there's a lot of joy in reaching out to others and pulling them up so that the game remains a hobby instead of a chore. It keeps me coming back. If you stick with this game for long enough, the day will eventually come when you have everything you could possibly want. The only thing that'll be left to do is give back. Heck, even if you're already prepared to quit this game for good, one of your last satisfying actions will probably be a Pokemon giveaway. It's nice knowing that the Pokemon you worked on aren't just wasting away in a virtual box, but continuing to provide entertainment for other people. Yes, if you came for the adventure, you'll most likely stay for the human element of the RPG. I recommend you join a team if you haven't already. There are a ton of people out there who want companionship with others who share their love of Pokemon. It might be because they want to be part of something greater than themselves, such as being the group with the most shiny Pokemon or the most famous competitive battlers. They may be like you guys and want to talk while playing Pokemon. They may want networking so that they can do stuff like buy good Pokemon at lower prices or trade Pokemon back and forth without fear of being robbed. Or they may simply want to have their questions answered honestly for a change, rather than getting trolled in the chat or being screamed at to use Google. If I may, I'd like to offer you a recommendation since you've stuck with me for this long. I'm part of Red, Yellow, Green, Blue, a team whose only purpose is to help others. It's not a welfare thing, you understand. It's more of a group effort deal based upon a color-coded personalities kind of system. Well, that and the concept of virtue is its own reward. Once we have what we need, we give selflessly and we accept with gratitude. It's idealistic, I know. Given that greed is the driving force of this game, it's almost counter to the Pokemon player's nature to be generous. Even so, I believe that there are people out there who want to be a force of good in a game as troll-infested as PokeMMO. If that's you, please consider joining up with us as one of the colors. If not, you can always join as a client, and we'll still be glad to help you with what you need. We have an open door policy, which means that you can join and leave whenever you want. It's not about being the best, it's about having a good experience. Since this is my last Let's Play PokeMMO video, I'd like to direct you to the links I left in the description below. The first leads to my Dropbox folder with the file containing everything you need to play PokeMMO for yourself. The second links to a personality quiz that you can take to determine what color you probably are. Even if you have no intention of doing anything with it, it ought to entertain you for a couple of minutes. The third link is the PokeMMO forum, specifically the red, yellow, green, blue team page. This is, of course, if you feel like joining up. You may need to sign up for the forum before you actually see that page, but you could always just contact a team member in-game to join. Whisper Merlin Red or Kenta Blue, all one word, usually on around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The final link's to DeviantArt, where you can find a comic strip version of PokeMMO's Team Red, Yellow, Green, Blue. There's a bit of explicit language, but I'm sure Pokemon fans would find it entertaining. Anyway, that's it for me. This is Valtor signing off. Thanks for hanging out with me throughout the game, and I hope to be back with you again sometime.